Hey, hey, Mopetenverrückten und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video. Heute geht's endlich mal weiter mit der Vespa von meinem guten Freund Charlie. Was soll ich sagen? Das Leben ist ihm so ein bisschen dazwischen gekommen. Er wurde nochmal Vater und jetzt, seit bald einem Jahr später, wo das erste Video von dieser Vespa online kam, geht's weiter. Aber die meisten von euch werden sich jetzt fragen, wer ist denn überhaupt dieser Charlie? Also würde ich sagen, hier kommt er.
Hey, hey, ihr Vespa-Verrückten! I'm Charlie. This is, of course, my Vespa, which is now 5 years in the making. I actually bought this in 2015, I think, to restore. But as mentioned by Andrea, life got in the way several times, not just this one. But now at last we're making progress, and if it wasn't for my dear friend Andrea, this would still be a wreck in a corner in my garage at home. I'm very happy with the color. Of course, I chose the color, but I couldn't even begin to imagine how it would turn out. I hope you guys like it too. Let me know in the comments below. As mentioned in earlier videos, this is a 1967 Vespa 50, and it's a Vespa 50N for the low spec model. But in this restoration, we're going to hop it up with some mostly original Piaggio parts, but from other models. So it's not a restoration to restore it to its normal state. Rather, we are going to make it my very own one. And after all of the work has been done with the body and paint and assembling all the parts, theoretically now all we have to do is put the motor into the frame, put the wiring into the frame, put the steering fork into the frame, and then we're pretty much done. Should be done in 5 minutes, I think. We'll see. Right, this is not the first time I'm seeing this, so if I'm not looking all that overexcited, it's because the first time I saw it, I was of course over the moon and you wouldn't recognize me. The first time I saw it though, we started already then mounting this aluminum edge on the foot cowl, which is of course not original to the Vespa 50N, but it is a nice addition in my opinion. So that's just one example of the many things when this is finished you will find on this one, but not on original Vespa 50s from 1967. Aber nicht lange schnacken, los geht's! Right, as you can see, we're clearly in the middle of everything. This is how it usually looks when you're putting things together. You do a little bit there, here, and a little bit there, until you get stuck, and then you start somewhere else. We've now started on adapting the brake pedal for the rear brake. My Vespa 50 came without brake lights, but we're now retrofitting it. And what we're doing then is they're all prepared for it. So this goes inside of the frame, and we mount the brake light switch onto here. And then we adapt the cable harness to work with the brake light. And this is of course brake light off and brake light on. I also decided to go with a change of the original rear lamp housing. Mine originally came with this bigger one, but I've decided to go for the smaller one as seen on earlier models because I think it looks better. And also, since we're now using the same light housing for brake lights, we will have to use, since I'm using something that wasn't intended to have a brake light with a brake light, we need somewhere to put the bulb. This means we need to adapt this rear lamp housing to fit this holder that can accommodate 2 bulbs rather than just one. We're still not entirely sure how to adapt it, but I figure it will be something like this. We've also started with the steering forks, and on a Vespa scooter you have to, at least on a small frame, we have to mount the front mudguard before mounting the steering bearings. So we now have to find a way to get this one onto here without damaging the paint on the front mudguard, which will be exciting. This is now the state of the Vespa at the moment. We're now mounted the foot rails and the center mat. The center mat is of course non-original to the Vespa 50cc, but it is original to 125cc versions and other. But I've decided to go with the mat rather than rails in the middle because I think it looks better and it's also somewhat practical. Maybe we can take a look at the fascinating operation of the choke lever. So the choke on a Vespa scooter is situated right here, and you pull this out to engage the choke, and it operates a lever on the inside that in turn you mount the wire, which will go down to the carburetor, which eventually will sit somewhere down here. We've also made some progress on the side panel. Now I decided to go with the lock rather than just the open lever for added security. This means rather than just a lever which anyone can adjust, we will have a lock, this one, it will go in there, and then we will have keys which operate the lever on the other side. Let's see how it will look when it's mounted. So there we go. Hey, hey, Vespa-Verrückten!
Aber die meisten von euch werden ja was.
Let me know in the comments below how you feel about the comments. Nicht lange snacken. Los geht's! Aber nicht lange snacken. Ah! Aber nicht. Den går till bloopers.
Momentnyckeln i axeln där. Knack.
Det blev ett helskotta.
Det där är ju svinsnett.
Det där är ju så jävla snett. Men det gör ingenting. Right, this is how far we got in this video. We got the floor rails mounted and the mats. We also mounted the bearings for the fork, bottom and lower of course. Perhaps most important of all, the emblem is in place. We finished the side panel as well as final assembly of the forks. As a fun fact, the bottom bearing on the fork we were really worried for, because as you remember the mudguard must be mounted when you bash it in. So we were really worried that we were going to harm the paint. But after heating it up and cooling the forks a bit, it just slid on like nothing. It was quite a surprising moment. Now when we've worked up some speed, of course we'd like to keep the momentum, and we won't have to wait as long for the next video. And this is where we're gonna end it today. What do you think of the work we've done? Let us know in the comment below. Like the video and subscribe if you're not. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Tschüss!